Welcome back to Toy Story 3. So yeah, now that we've looked into Wundy's roundup, let's actually continue the story, I think.
Brandy, please come down.
But if I remember correctly, we're going to check out Doll's Toy Barn first, just to take a look at what it is. So we can view collectibles and rewards that we collected.
That's cool. You actually get to visit this place again.
Yeah.
Except it's not an actual proper level in this game, Deji. It's actually just a place for you to check the collectibles that you've collected.
I mean, it's still something. At least they remembered it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, well, this is like, you know, your collectible section, whereas Woody's Roundup, that's, you know, sort of the pseudo-hub world.
And at least there's no acid here.
Yeah, seriously, Alcoholcraft Toy Bar never shut down after.
The same reason why Andy's mom thought it was a good idea to have acid in their basement.
It's interesting because the only real major proper throwback you can argue that this game has to Toy Story 2 is the Woody's Roundup thingy, because like I said, the actual main campaign is much more similar to the first game. All right.
That said, though, I mean, well, in Al's Toy Barn, you can pretty much buy collectibles and stuff that you can use to customize Woody's Roundup here and there.
Yep. All right, let's actually get back to the main campaign. All right, starting with this level, we have all 3 playable characters available to us: Woody, Buzz, and Jess. So.
Yay.
I sent Rex to the basement to get the cordless phone, so now we just need to find Andy's
Okay, to be fair to Jimmy, do that bad of impression of his brothers before.
Play with us one last time.
Okay, so you might remember how in the movie they're supposed to get that phone so they can try and see if they can convince Andy to have one final playtime with them. Well, that's exactly what we're gonna do then. Okay, so starting from this point on the levels, a lot of times there will be certain things that can only be done by a specific character. And all of the characters can pick one of the other characters up and throw them. There you go. Yeah. See? As you can probably... And yes, Buzz can throw way further than the others, considering obviously he's much stronger and the others are much lighter than he is. So
the only characters you play as are Woody, Buzz, and Jessie?
Well, actually, that's the thing, that you need to play all 3 of them, because the levels are entirely built to take advantage of all 3 of the characters' unique abilities.
So it's like Sonic Heroes.
Well, it doesn't work like Sonic Heroes because you don't. First of all, you don't do the campaign 4 times or 3 times in this case, and
you don't play as all 3 at once.
I will die on the hill of enjoying that game.
Let me put it.
I do too. And to call it the worst Sonic game ever.
I'm trying to find a good.
I enjoy that game as well too.
Well, for someone who doesn't consider it the worst, Did you sure talk about it?
Hold on. What were those pin on the war map?
Those what? Sorry?
I mean, usually for an Easter egg purpose, when pins are on the war map in a product, usually they're there for like a reason, in a sense, whether like an Easter egg, like say some of the developers are from this place. I wondered if there was a meaning behind that.
I doubt it too. Anyway,
to answer your question, Dewebs, I only mentioned that game as a comparison to know if we're on the same page.
I mean, I'm not sure it's that comparison.
Anyway,
I don't think he ever said he hated it or that it was the worst.
Anyway, we do have a wall jump in this game when all 3 characters can do it.
Okay.
So let's see. In fact, I think I'll show it in a moment. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So basically, oh yeah, and now it's another fun. Yeah, you can choose to give a hint for the game to give you a hint. Buzz can throw characters further than the others. There you go. One thing that I will also like to say that I really like about this game is the hint system. You can do 2 things with the press R1 to help thing. You can ask for the game to give you a hint, but not necessarily flat out tell you what you're supposed to do. However, if even the hint doesn't help you, you can flat out ask the game, just show me what I'm supposed to do, and the game will do it. So as a result, if you find yourself in a point where you're stuck and you don't quite understand what the game demands of you, you can just ask the game to tell you.
There's something every great player in that regard.
Unfortunately, unlike Mario Galaxy 2, you don't get penalized for using the hint system. So there's that. All right. And there we go. And this somehow makes all the drawers...
What are you doing there?
Well, I haven't found Andy's cell phone, but I have discovered a new smell.
Of course.
I forget the guy who voiced this Porky. Was this?
No, his name is Ham.
You mean John Ratzenberg?
John Ratzenberg.
Yeah, he did briefly voice Homer Simpson for one scene.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
It was in a...
Dan Castellaneta Ill?
No, it was in a cast where like the Simpsons met different versions of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So the CGI Homer was John.
That was cool, yeah.
Oh, Jessie can do the spire jump from Sly.
Yes,
Yes, he could.
taking a cue from Sly Cooper, Jessie's the only one that can do this kind of jump. There you go, Theo. There's a little.
Oh, you're
thing for
using
you.
the square button, it's not the circle button, so it's totally 0 to 10.
Oh, of course, obviously.
Great, we got the cell phone. Now we just need.
But Theo, if I was playing the Wii version, I would be using the X button.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Is this one particular licensed game that is equal across all platforms, or do different versions play differently?
From what I've looked into, the Wii, PS3, and 360 versions are all the same game. In fact, much like all of these games, Avalanche made the game for the Wii, and the PS3 and 360 versions are HD upscale ports.
Okay.
The PSP version, on the other hand, I don't.
God, the bloom effect.
I haven't really looked into the PSP version of Toy Story 3. Maybe it's kind of like the Asobo Studio version of the WALL-E game. Maybe it's a different version of the game that has different content, but I haven't actually looked much into it.
Sir, I believe we can help. My men
Oh,
are
hello.
deployed throughout the room.
Hello, Sarge.
I think they got back.
Ooh, look at
Erdman for this.
Ooh, look at that seamless transition between the cutscenes and the gameplay. Smooth, swanky for you, Avalanche.
What is
Anyway.
your Kingdom Hearts 3?
Oh, this actually was very uncommon actually, at this point
I
in time.
know, I
Still,
was just joking because it's kind of funny because one of the first cutscenes they showed of Kingdom Hearts 3 in later development was the one in the toy box world, and they were proud of showcasing how seamless the transition between cutscene and gameplay was, and it was actually very similar to this one.
Oh yes. So it's like I said, this game was very ahead of its time in a lot of regards.
Yeah.
Both a tie-in game and just a game in general, honestly.
look at that too. A higher fidelity visual version of Andy Stairs.
Cool. So it's
And
very
what-
actual.
And you can rail grind, yay!
Excellent. Thought something was missing.
Alright, okay, so the basic idea is we need to get to the other phone. And we're
Oh my
going
god, guys! Andy's mom got rid of all the acid in the basement.
I'll
Thank God.
consider it.
Yeah, that's a thing, honestly. Surprisingly, the level design here is kind of similar to that from Toy Story 2. I wonder if Avalanche might have, taken some cues from the previous two games.
Some environments were known already how they look like in the movie, so that was actually easy. But for others, like say here, the basement we didn't know much, so that actually could apply, like you said.
I disagree. I think the overall philosophy is much more similar to the first Toy Story game, where they take full advantage.
Pedro. I'm talking more so about the layout of
Yeah,
this
Joe
one,
is talking about how the levels actually do look in terms of how props are disposed and everything, not in the sense of how the relation between them.
I guess.
Yeah.
So there you go. Again, this is exactly the kind of game that I expect from a Toy Story game. Like the game takes full advantage of its linear nature to focus more on the exact type of shenanigans and set pieces that the toys do in the movie. Specifically, all these elaborate things that Woody does to see if he can help toys get to a specific spot, or maybe you know what I mean, right? Like all the stuff that they do in the movies. So again, this is exactly the kind of thing that I really want to see in a Toy Story game. Properly take all of the cool action, elaborate stunts that the movie has, and properly translate that into gameplay opportunities. Go ahead.
Even in some of the more open levels like this, you're still operating towards, a particular goal, as opposed to, just doing all these different things, laying about wasting your time. And well, not so much wasting your time, but, pretty much having to do different tasks to collect enough tokens to proceed here and there. Which, again, did feel a bit jarring during certain parts of the story of Toy Story 2, where, time should be of the essence.
The game also finds a good
goes to the airport episode.
The game also finds a good compromise in the sense that technically it still has the collectathon elements. They're just related to completely optional things for those who care, for those who really want more side stuff to do in Woody's Roundup. So basically, those who like me, who prefer a more linear, straightforward Toy Story 1 type of experience, can, there you go. Returning from the first game, you can use Woody's whip, as the first game originally put it, to do this. There you go.
This is why I wonder if Avalanche Studios did actually take a look at the previous two games, do a bit of mix matching, and of course throw in their own spin to, you know, make this game, because it really does feel like the natural evolution of the franchise, video game-wise in general.
This was actually my bad. What you're seeing right now is a blind playthrough, and I failed to. I totally screwed up here, and I thought, wait, this was a little bit of my gamer instinct, where I was just trying to think. I was trying to push the window towards me instead of to the side, as I should, because that's how those things open. But I don't know. I guess my instincts, whenever it's in video games, usually when I pull things like this, I usually pull them towards me. So I guess my muscle memory was working against me.
You thought you were playing a Naughty Dog game.
I guess you can put it like that. Yeah, sure.
Yep. So
I actually have a question.
Go ahead.
You guys are familiar with Disney Infinity, right?
Yeah. No, not me.
I am.
I was gonna ask, how closer does this play to that, since the whole game was in a toy box?
When it comes to Disney Infinity, well, Disney Infinity works on a more set structure of stuff. You got your characters with their typical jumps and attacks here, but more often than not, it's kind of a similar attack structure, but, you know, each player has like a bit of an extra ability occasionally. Think of it like a souped-up Lego player sort of game here.
Again, it's pretty much like Saigon.
For the most part, the movesets are similar, but some of the characters might have some special attributes to, you know, differentiate themselves from others. But for the most part, the basic gameplay is pretty much the same.
Again, it's kind of like Skylanders in that way, considering it takes the same approach of Toys to Life.
That was literally Disney's answer to Skylanders, which Disney probably regretted when the the Toys to Life trend kind of obviously puttered out like everyone was expecting it to do.
But yeah, if you want
Don't even get me started on Lego Dimensions.
Horribly mismanaged.
But yeah,
saying, Pedro?
If you want to do more collecting, you can do that. It's just reserved for optionally if you want to explore alternate paths involving anything involving the character specific abilities, because the levels actually do have optional bits, like for example you can jump on that fridge to get an extra collectible if you notice there. So basically the game will still allow you some minor collectathon elements, not obviously not as much of a focus as in the second game. However, if you want to unlock side stuff to do in Woody's Roundup, you do have that option. So there is still some presence of what at least to some extent of what Toy Story 2 did.
Is this a 100% run or no?
No, what you're watching is a blind run. I'm just gonna be doing the main campaign. That's the that's the thing. Well, that's the thing, Deji. Like the Woody's Roundup aspects is just mostly gameplay driven. Yes, there's you do have some cameos in it, but it's just minor stuff like I showed in the previous part, really. And I kind of wanted to move on to the next game after this. So,
alas.
What is after this?
After this, we're doing the Jungle Book video game.
Okay.
Are you doing a Disney phone or something?
I am.
Kind of.
I am. Yes.
Basically, Pedro kind of got inspired from when I did the MCU tie-in video games licensed, published by Sega.
If there's one thing this game does do better than the previous one, is that there aren't random voice clips from the characters that don't really add up.
No. The voice, unfortunately, in this game...
I Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger.
Well, I will say, Waves, this is kind of compensated by the characters doing random grunts. Very repeated. Like, I noticed that in the previous part where Woody constantly yelled for everything that was happening on screen. Like, ha 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 ha, every 2 seconds. So I don't know if he
Oh,
kind of makes
hold on, guys.
Rex is still in his gamer fix.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to enter one of the big highlights of this game for me.
Wow, I didn't know the Super.
Oh, the real Rex teaser. Got it.
Also, I gotta say, I didn't know the Super Nintendo could run these amazing graphics.
I know, right? Maybe it's the long-lost SNES CD add-on. What interesting is an FMV.
Actually, that's the thing. What he was playing there currently was actually gameplay.
Also, Rex, didn't you actually read a strategic guide in the second game? It's a good movie.
Yes, he did.
Maybe that's the thing that remember he also said too. His arms kind of make it hard for him to play as well as a normal human would. So you have to understand that he's a bit, limited in this regard.
Okay. Distinct Super Nintendo
so let's get to the point that Pedro has no doubt been excited to show you guys.
Yes, the Buzz video game! Finally! We get to play it!
We should have gotten the previous game.
It took 11 years.
It took us 11 years, but we finally can play the goddamn Buzz Lightyear video game from Toy Story 2. Thank you, Avalanche.
I'll say this. I love how meta they get about
this
saying, just for old time's sake.
This completely has nothing to do with the movie, interrupts the story completely, but you know what? For this one case, I'll allow it.
Mandatory or optional?
No, it's mandatory. However, considering the circumstances behind this trilogy of games, I'll allow it this time. This is a special exception for me.
Oh, first a flying section. Okay.
Well, that's how it starts in the movie.
Like in the movie.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing how this looks visually better than anything that SNES can do.
Yeah, like I said, was there some secret?
Don't you see?
Was there some secret Super FX chip that we didn't?
Don't you see that? Okay, question: could a bootleg SNES controller potentially be linked instead to a Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, potentially? A bootleg, man, not an official one. Maybe this is actually a Sega CD that Rex is playing on, and we're playing like Sewer Shark.
Well, remember, like what Pedro said earlier, there was that thing Nintendo were working on with Sony before Nintendo decided, you know what, fuck you, we're gonna go with Philips instead.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I love? There actually are some of those out in the wild, and they can actually function, believe it or not.
Okay, Pedro, did you suddenly decide, you know what, actually, I hate Buzz Lightyear, I'm gonna crash him into these...
Remember this is a blind run, so
That's not an excuse.
So I'm... Well, no. I'm not trying to come up with an excuse, I'm just trying to explain the context.
Yeah, Pedro was so pissed about his portrayal in Toy Story 4, he took it out on the Buzz Lightyear of this game.
Well,
but anyway...
That was that they never made a sequel to Toy Story 3.
That's actually a better excuse.
Anyway,
Pedro.
yeah. So yeah, everybody, if you're like me, and you've always wanted to play that video game, and you've always been a bit feeling sorry for Rex, and you wish you could have seen Rex finally beat Zurg, because we never actually saw that. Yeah, we saw that thing where even, where the Zurg falls in the elevator, and Rex is all like, I finally beat Zurg, but we didn't actually see him beat it in the video, but we didn't actually beat it he didn't actually beat the video game itself. Well, there you go, finally, thanks to Avalanche Software, we finally get to see. There you go. That's what happens if you die. We finally get to see Rex.
Pedro, I know that you were buzzing with excitement, but come on.
Well, forgive me. I was really quite excited to play this level.
It's gonna take us light years to get past
it. It also helps that my original test run that I did before I started this blind run, because I did play the first level, and I thought, okay, this sounds pretty easy enough. I think I'm good enough for now. When I realized that this was the third level, I had a big smile on my face, because this is exactly what I wanted back in 1999.
Fun fact, actually, I was the first one to let Pedro know about the Toy Story 3 game back in the day.
You're the one who told me that the Buzz video game was in here.
Yeah. How come? It looks like you're deliberately flying into the cliff.
I kind of suck at this level. Okay, we can all be as awesome.
Okay.
Is it possible that you can slow it down?
No. You're literally supposed to.
It actually reminds me of like those stages with the carpet in Aladdin Azira's Revenge. So I get what Pedro was going for.
No. This is entirely my fault. I assure you. It's all about having quick reflexes.
Ooh, it's quiet. Too quiet.
Where did that originate from?
Anyway, to be fair to Pedro, this game can be tougher than it looks, in sections like that. Like
but
you
what
said,
did
it
it
relies on
originate
good
from, though?
reflexes.
Seriously.
I'm checking, Shiroi.
Oh.
I'm playing the PS3 version because it just becomes a lot easier for me to just record it in a proper HD resolution. It makes it look a lot nicer.
Play as Zerg.
Oh yeah, you can actually. Well, you can. Well, yeah. But Zerg is actually a part of a side activity you can unlock in Woody's Roundup. I did read about that, and yeah, like Deji said, it's exclusive to the PS3 version for reasons that I don't really understand. But whatever.
There's time for Sony to have that hard-on for exclusive content to their versions. Like, I really don't get why Zerg is exclusively playable.
No.
You are going to show that, right?
No, I only learned about that afterward the fact. Sorry. Alright, let's continue. I'm actually quite impressed. This area is quite big. You wouldn't expect, especially after the previous levels, for them to have an area this big, but they do. So quite impressive. Anyway.
It's like I've...
Ooh. All right, time for some good old-fashioned platforming.
I do like how we can actually hear what the people over Buzz's intercom are saying. That
the rest of the Star Command.
It's, I was kind of half expecting them to get someone from this show, but it's okay.
Yeah, have Buzz be voiced by Patrick Warburton for no reason.
Well, to be fair, I guess Tim Allen does.
I'm genuinely wondering.
Even though they got him for the DVD release of.
Oh, by the way, I should mention this. As the game just told us, you can use the jump button again during mid-jump to hover. However, this only applies in this level because the Buzz we're playing right now is fictional Buzz, not toy Buzz.
Which also means that his laser works and stuff.
That's actually a pretty good attention to detail, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm genuinely wondering, by the way, if Avalanche was developing the game and they were thinking, okay, we need to have some kind of extra levels because the story of the movie itself is not really enough to sustain a decent length for the game. So what else can we add?
I mean, that's nothing new. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie game did the same thing.
Sure. All tie-in games do this, but it was really cool that apparently somebody at Avalanche thought, you know what nobody ever did at Traveler's Tales? An actual level of the Buzz video game? Why don't we do that? and they were all like, you know what? Why not? It's never been done, so might as well. So yeah, cool.
And they did it, and again, like Pedro's mentioned, it's quite a good homage.
Anyway, Shira, to answer your question, the closest I could find for an actual source, it's still vague, so I don't know how much 100% correct it may be, but it says that the earliest instance of this quote is a movie from 1934 called The Lucky Texan, a romance western starring John Wayne, Barbara Sheldon, and George Gabby Hayes.
Huh.
So there's that.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it has been used in books before that, so I don't know. Go on, Jova, sorry.
I do like that extra detail that you can actually ground pound certain things to break apart them so that they can flow further. Again, it tests the thought of the player here and also thinking ahead.
You also notice that just like in the movie, you're using the laser to blow up the crystals and have all these multiple lasers. So again, it's doing exactly what I want in one of these games.
I feel like a kid again.
It's again, it's doing exactly the same thing Traveler's Tales did with the first game. Take as many stuff from the movie as possible to turn into gameplay mechanics.
I mean, and this is a bit extra surprising because this isn't just adapting something from Toy Story 3. No, this is adapting something from Toy Story 2, so it's like 1.5 adaptations for the price of one. Specifically,
The fact that we never actually got to play the video game, like I said, so it really is really sweet that after all these years we can finally play it.
And believe it or not, they give you a cutscene based off of whether or not you win or lose to Zerg in this game.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you lose, what's the death animation? Buzz gets blown in half again. Rex is like, no.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so the basic idea from this part is that we have to try our best to find the platforms that will take you there. So basically, whenever you feel like you're stuck, look for a crystal, like the one that you see right there in the distance. If you don't know what to do...
Is it a crystal gem?
No, sorry.
Thank God.
The the crystal from Toy Story...
Memories?
The crystal from Toy Story 2 that Buzz... lasers up, I guess that's the best way I can put it in the Buzz sequence, the Buzz video game sequence in Toy Story 2. So if you've seen the movie, this should be easy enough to figure out. So yeah, if you haven't seen the movie though, well, what are you doing? Go watch it. It's great.
It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Trademark.
Although I would recommend, well, actually no, that depends on the person.
Disney Plus, a streaming service created by the Walt Disney Company, released in November of 2019.
Except here in Britain, where it launched in March of 2020.
But
enjoy your favorite shows and movies, such as the MCU, Star Wars, Pixar.
Look at the like we've said,
and every season of The Simpsons.
Okay,
even
so
the later ones.
Yeah, Pedro.
Okay, so for this sequence we have an environmental puzzle of sorts. Not only do we have to defeat enemies as all of these Zerg soldiers that we saw in the second movie, thank you. We also have to try our best to see if we can find. Basically, you see those gusts of wind. They'll throw us very high. However, in the second one, we have to try to plug in all the various holes with all the floating rocks. So if you see a hole, plug it. That's the basic gist of it.
So we can't fire our laser at one of those things, blow up all the joys, and get thrown into the next bit.
Sorry, Dwebs. So yeah, as you can see, the gust of wind will not take me all. I have to first take care of this. And there we go. Alright, now we can also take care of that crystal. Why not? Fuck. Problem is, when you're trying to blow up the crystal, if you get hit while you're using the laser, your laser animation will be cancelled. So you have to try your best to position in a place where you won't be hit by the enemies. So be careful, basically.
You can only use the laser on a standstill, I can imagine.
Unfortunately, yes. If I remember correctly, no, I don't think the game ever told me that I could. Okay, well, regardless, let's do it. Considering the limited time that they had and all the goodwill they've built up until this point, I'm willing to forgive that.
Whoa.
That's the post game.
That's the thing, Dwebs. Since they're doing the entire video game from the second movie, and I do mean all of it, it takes a while. So I needed to cut this part at some point, and I figured this was the best point I could find to cut the part into.
Sure.
Okay, so Buzz died.
On the way back to his planet.
Yes. I must go.
Right.
Well, actually, Theo, according to the first movie, he's supposed to return to Space Quadrant 9. Whatever that is. So.
Alright, see ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.